This carport is really cool, but it's in the wrong place. I looked online for different videos on how to move a carport because I'm sure people have done it before me, but just about everything I found involved disassembly. Problem is, this isn't just a carport anymore. It's got custom barn doors on one end and it's framed in on the other with an entry door. And while I could disassemble it, it would take more time than I think it's worth. Jen and I spent about an hour and a half pulling out the 4 and 5 foot rebar stakes. I pried up on the building with a shingle shovel and she shoved some blocks underneath of it. This is the destination. It's really not that far away. My neighbor offered to help out with the move of the building. He suggested basically building a skid underneath of it. Got a couple 4x6 posts laid underneath of here. They're attached to the carport with legs, same as I'm legging these 2x4s. I just wanted to add a little extra rigidity to the whole thing. So now it's basically got a square of timber underneath of it, and it should run on those two 4x6s. Last minute I thought maybe the building would try to tweak as it's being pulled, so I put a 45-degree brace in. I was debating taking off the doors as they might drag on the terrain, but I figured if that was necessary, I could do that in the middle of it. My original idea for moving this building was to put wheels on it and pull it over there like a trailer, but I ended up liking my neighbor's idea better. He brought over some chains and some different things, and I'm just doing a final check around it to make sure I think it's good. The 4x6s do have a taper cut with a chainsaw just in case they try to dig into the earth anywhere. But finally, the time came. Let's move it and see if it moves. The building really doesn't weigh all that much, so I don't think it should be too difficult. Just gotta make sure that I don't have any dogs, cats, or ducks that try to get underneath of it as we go. Sure enough, though, once you started pulling on it, it pulled just like a sled. We are going downhill to the new location. However, as easy as it ended up pulling, I think it would have been fine going up a slight incline as well. Everything seemed to be going pretty good until he started turning, and while his truck was turning, the building was like, nah, I'm just gonna go straight. It's those 4x6s underneath, though. They're just kind of guiding it in a straight direction. Car accidents are never fun to get into, but building-to-building accidents, that would be a disaster. Didn't take too long and we realized it wasn't going to pull well, so we stopped and hooked it up just to one of the 6x4s. Or 4x6s. This whole voiceover thing and remembering all the dimensions of lumber is difficult. Anyway, that made short work of it. It spun around just how we wanted to, and then we connected the truck back up to both of them again and continued our mostly straight direction over there.
Aslan. He's like, leave.
Guess I ended up cutting Jen off. I'm not sure what she was saying, and I'm going to have to ask her later or go back and watch the other clip. I'm so used to doing short format videos that when I'm having a voiceover on a video where nothing is happening, I'm just like, okay, I guess a duck's flapping over there. Oh, now the truck's turning slightly. Oh, now the truck's turning a little bit more. Anyway, I'll get it figured out eventually, but for now, we're just kind of backing the vehicle up and backing the building up, and everything's going according to plan. If you're planning on moving a carport, I would suggest doing it this way if at all possible, because disassembly and reassembly would have taken a lot longer than what this did. The longest and most difficult part of everything was taking the rebar stakes out of it. When deciding the final destination of the building, I really wasn't sure how the slope was going to work out with it all. I just tried to choose a spot that was relatively flat, or maybe I should say on a flat plane, but it's not level. I thought about it for 15 minutes or so and then decided to just set the building there and then decide if it was good. And after looking at it, we made a couple little adjustments. But yeah, I think the building will set really nice right here. And then I stopped filming because rain was coming and we were hanging out and talking about how much fun we had. So this is actually the next day. The place where the carport was is eventually going to have a garage built here, and that camper is going to have to get out of here next. The same 4x6s we used for skids ended up raising up the building 4 inches, and I just lined them around the edges. The main reason for that was to give the doors clearance to open and close. Had to make a couple adjustments so the doors lined up again how they're supposed to. I'd kind of like to keep creatures out from under there, so I may put a rubber flap at the front of the doors. And on the sides where there's gaps, I'll just put some rocks or soil underneath there to make up the difference. The back side is going to need a little bit of help. This man door is not exactly opening and closing sweetly. Probably the easiest thing to do, since I'm happy with where the building is to just readjust the door. Hope you guys like this video. Hopefully it helps you move your carport, or at least think of a way to move your carport if you're thinking of it. If you haven't already, hit that like button and hit that subscribe to see more videos.